Hi, I'm Mike, PokeTips Mike, and the Pokemon news is insane today. We have a lot to talk about here. Dynamax Adventures, how to turn your Pokemon into Gigantamax Pokemon, Cramorant's got a weird new job, a tournament, and much more. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so first things first, I want to talk about one of the biggest new features coming in this DLC update, something called Max Soup. Now, what is this special soup, you might ask? This, my friends, is how we turn our starters, and who knows, maybe more Pokemon too, into special Gigantamax Pokemon. So let's read up on this a little bit. Max Soup is a special dish made from rare ingredients you can gather on the Isle of Armor. If a Pokemon with great hidden potential drinks Max Soup, it will become a special Pokemon capable of Gigantamaxing. Now, we see a bunch of people here sitting around the table, and we actually saw a little bit of this in the Pokemon trailer that came out early this morning too, and they're obviously making that whole Max Soup. Now, the Pokemon website where I'm getting this information from and the trailer that we saw earlier today weren't very clear on what ingredients go into this Max Soup. However, there was a leak about a week ago, which we can now cross-reference and confirm is 100% true, that leaked a lot of battle moves, items, and abilities that are going to be in the DLC update. If you guys want a full video on me covering that leak, let me know down in the comment section. It's just text information, so I think we should be fine covering it. But according to that leak, there were a few items found called Max Honey and Max Mushrooms. And it doesn't take somebody with a max-sized brain to figure out that those are more than likely going to go into this special Max Soup. So as we now know, this Max Soup, when we feed it to one of our Pokemon, it'll give it the ability to Gigantamax, assuming it has a Gigantamax form. Now, based on information we got before, we know for a fact this is going to work on the starters that we got in the beginning of our adventure. So if you got your starter all the way back in November, you'll be able to Gigantamax it if you give it some Max Soup. However, the wording here is kind of vague. Some Pokemon you've already been traveling with may be able to gain the ability to Gigantamax as well. So I'm wondering, is this going to work on every Pokemon that can Gigantamax, or only the starters? I really hope it's everything, because it would be so nice to be able to take Pokemon from even your oldest Pokemon games and be able to Gigantamax those too, assuming they have GMAX forms, of course. Either way, it sounds like the soup is going to be very important, and likely how you'll be able to GMAX the Kanto region starters as well. Next up, let's talk about this weird thing over here, the Cram-O-Matic. So Cramorant, I guess Cramorant's been a little busy since we last saw him in Sword and Shield. So it looks like somebody took a toy Cramorant head, put it on like a little vacuum cleaner looking thing. Or maybe it's a trash can with a little container on the back. I don't know, I'm kind of stupid when it comes to these types of things. But they combined a whole bunch of objects together to make the Cram-O-Matic. Now, according to the Pokemon website, the dojo on the Isle of Armor houses a unique take on recycling in the form of a device called the Cram-O-Matic. If you feed it 4 items, it will combine them and give you a new item in exchange. You can receive any of a variety of items, including Pokeballs, PP-ups, and more. Some combinations might produce rare items. Ooh, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this thing. So first off, I feel like this might be a good way to make some money. You buy some cheap stuff like antidotes, throw it in the Cram-O-Matic, and hope to get something more valuable. But honestly, in Sword and Shield, there's so many super fast ways to make money, it's probably not even gonna be worth your time. But I'm really hoping that one of the rare rewards that we get out of this thing is a Master Ball. I feel like it would just be so funny getting a little Master Ball out of the Cram-O-Matic, seeing it pop out of that Cramorant head like blah. Definitely going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to try out some of the combinations here. Now, some more new Isle of Armor stuff. We have some brand new Move Tutor moves. So as we know, the Isle of Armor is bringing back Move Tutors, a Pokemon game essential. We now know that the thing you're going to need to exchange in order to use these Move Tutors is something called the Armorite Ore, which the website says is a substance that you can find on the Isle of Armor through max raid battles and other means. Interesting. I was kind of hoping that the Move Tutor moves in this game would just be free to use, like how they made the Move Relearner not require a heart scale, but it sounds easy enough to get an Armorite Ore if you could get it through max raid battles and other ways too, so I'm sure it won't be a big problem. Now, there's also going to be new Move Tutor moves available on the Isle of Armor. We have a few of them right here. So move number 1 is Burning Jealousy. So Burning Jealousy is a fire-type move, and when it hits, it deals damage to all opposing Pokemon and burns all opposing Pokemon that had their stats boosted. Oh, during the turn? Well, that's interesting. That might create some weird troll strategies where you use stuff like decorate to raise your opponent's stats and then use this to burn them. I don't play competitive at all, so I'm sure there's a lot better ways to do that, but that's just the first thing that popped into my mind there. Editing Mike here, this actually would work really well with Swagger or Flatter. Raise their stats with those moves, give them the confusion status, and then boom, burn them. This definitely sounds like it was made with VGC in mind though, since it hits both Pokemon and it really affects competitive stuff there. And another new move is Grassy Glide, a new grass type move that has high priority when used on grassy terrain. And they show a combo right there, Rillaboom, which just got its hidden ability today using Grassy Glide. Rillaboom itself can just set up the grassy terrain with this ability, so now it just gets a priority move. That's actually really good. A very nice buff to Rillaboom and probably any other Pokemon that can get it too. So yeah guys, definitely get the hidden ability Galar starters. If you need help getting them, I have a video that I already made. I'll link it in the description below. It'll tell you exactly what you need to know to get them. And other than that, this features page pretty much has stuff we already knew about the new clothing items, the new Pokédexes coming out to help fit all the new Pokemon they're adding in this DLC update, max raid battles on the Isle of Armor, and restricted sparring, which we don't really know too much about yet. All we really know is you're limited on what type of Pokemon you could use, and you have to set up special conditions for yourself. So now let's talk about some new information that we got about the Crown Tundra, which from what we saw from the trailer earlier today and what I covered in other videos seems to be the most exciting part for me personally, because I like the legendary Pokemon. So let's talk now about Dynamax Adventure. Team up with 3 other trainers to go on a Dynamax adventure. You will be able to venture into Pokemon dens and maybe even run into the Dynamax Pokemon. If you do encounter a Dynamax Pokemon during your exploration, you'll need to work together with your teammates in a max raid battle. You'll get a chance to catch the Dynamax Pokemon for your team if you triumph in the battle, but you'll be kicked out of the den if you lose. I believe we saw a glimpse of this in the trailer earlier today. We see a bunch of trainers running at this glowing orb, and it looks like they're about to jump into one of those raid dens, and then shortly after that they show them encountering a legendary Pokemon. So it's looking like from the information that we have so far, once you go through one of these Dynamax adventures, you might have a chance of encountering a legendary Pokemon at the end, like the Giratina on this page, or the Mewtwo in the trailer. I guess this is how they're handling all the legendary Pokemon that they're bringing back in the Crown Tundra. Instead of putting them in their own little section, it's just going to be in these Dynamax adventures. We're just going to run in there, beat up all of these Pokemon, and then hopefully catch a legendary at the end. Honestly, it sounds kind of fun. It just might get annoying if you're trying to catch a bunch of legendary Pokemon back to back to back, and you have to knock out all those Dynamax Pokemon before you do it. Now next, we have a new tournament mode in the game. Once you progress far enough in your adventure in the Crown Tundra, you'll be able to participate in the Galarian Star Tournament, held in the city of Wyndon. In this tournament, you'll be able to battle with various trainers you met in Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, but not just as opponents. You'll also be able to pick a teammate and tackle the tournament together. Ooh, they chose Hop? Why would you choose Hop? That guy's using Double. So this is kind of cool. It's like they're basically adding a double battle mode to the Champion Cup that we already have in Sword and Shield. I feel like this should have been in the base game, but hey, I'm glad we're getting it. I'm hoping though that later on they reveal that there's more than just trainers from Galar. I hope they bring back trainers from other regions, kind of like the PWT, where you got to battle a whole bunch of trainers from all the other regions. I hope they bring back people like Red, Steven Stone, Cynthia, even some gym leaders, Brock, Misty. I feel like that would be a nice way to spice this up, because it'll get old fighting the Galar gym leaders and Galar trainers over and over and over again. If that is going to happen though, there's no reason for them to reveal this right now, since this is not coming out for another few months, so hopefully at a later date they reveal that there's going to be a lot of cool trainers we can fight here, but I'm pretty excited. I like double battles. I feel like this will be fun. Also, I'm hoping it scales. I'm hoping that they're not using Pokemon in the level 60s and 70s, because by the time this comes out, that's going to be weak. That's going to be really, really weak. It's weak now. Imagine after playing through the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra, we're going to need a real challenge. I feel like if they capped all the trainers at level 50 and gave them Eevee trained teams, that's how you could really make this a challenge. You know what, basically just turn this into the PWT. Black and White 2 had it right, just give us that back and this will be perfect. And looking over the page once again, I think that's pretty much it for all the new stuff over here for new features. The Cram-O-Matic, the Tutor Moves are actually pretty good. The Max Soup, I just love that. The Isle of Armor is all about food. You have Mustard, the Dojo Master, Max Soup, which will make your Pokemon able to GMAX. I guess restricted sparring isn't really about food, but point still stands. Crown Tundra with the Dynamax Adventures, the Galarian Star Tournament. Lots and lots of cool stuff. Oh, and we also do have the information now for Black Blastoise and Venusaur's GMAX moves. So Venusaur is going to get the GMAX move, GMAX Vine Lash. This move does damage and also continues to deal a little bit of damage for 4 turns to any Pokemon that isn't a grass type afterward. Now, Blastoise, on the other hand, gets the GMAX move, GMAX Cannonade, which does the same exact thing. It does damage and continues to deal a little bit of damage for 4 turns to any Pokemon that isn't a water type. And now that I think about it, Charizard's GMAX move, GMAX Wildfire, is the same exact thing but for fire types, so all 3 Kanto starters have the same exact GMAX move. And those, my friends, are some of the new features coming to Pokemon Sword and Shield through the DLC. Again, I'm curious to see how this soup works. The Cram-O-Matic is going to be a lot of fun to use, and I'm hoping that tournament is kind of like the PWT from Black and White 2, so I feel like we're going to have a good time with all this DLC once it all drops. In the comment section below, let me know which one of these you're the most excited for. My friends, thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give this video a big thumbs up. I charged that one up like a max move right there. Big thumbs up. Alright, I'm done. 4 videos today, I gotta take a break. If you've been enjoying my content, definitely subscribe for more, and my friends, I'll be seeing you in the next one.